We are extremely shocked at the way in which this whole issue has been framed.
All of what we are saying, that minority communities' personal laws will be abolished, Hindu law will be brought in, etc.
I would say that every community needs to discuss this issue, keep women in the center of the discussions.
What the government wants to do, what Modi wants to do.
See, we think that the way that the whole debate, the proposal has come forward, we feel that this really in a way trivializes the most serious issues of gender justice that should have been foregrounded. But instead of talking about gender justice in all laws, whether it's personal or secular, which is our concern. As women's groups, we are concerned with gender justice in all communities, and in secular laws, and in personal laws, and in customary laws. But we are extremely shocked at the way in which this whole issue has been framed, starting with the Law Commission notice, which leaves it open to interpretation. There is no discussion on gender justice, but there's more discussion on the so-called uniformity. So our question is, what is this uniformity? Who do you want to bring uniformity to? We are a diverse country. We are a diverse country with diverse communities, diverse practices, diverse contexts. We want gender justice in all these diverse contexts. Can you bring this about with a uniform civil code is our question. And I think as women's groups, we have constantly said, we have been saying that what we want is not uniformity, and uniformity particularly the way in which it is being framed in today's context. And when we look at the kind of the social media response, the way that, because it's not as if the government has put forward any clear idea of what this uniform civil code will actually look like. If it had at least put that forward, we could have had a discussion on that. What is this notion of uniform civil code? But instead it has only let loose a few words. It has only let loose a few words into the public arena, which is that of uniformity, and it is being taken forward by the social media, which is projecting it as focusing only on some personal laws, especially that of minorities. And we have great problems with that, because as women's rights activists, we see how there is gender justice not in one community, it's across communities. And by doing this, in fact, you are going to close down spaces for any kind of reform and changes within communities. You're closing up the spaces. You're going to make it worse for women. By bringing in this whole notion of uniformity, you're actually closing up spaces within communities to access justice.
Would there be a possible threat to the minority communities with the UCC?
See, all of what we are saying, that minority communities' personal laws will be abolished, Hindu law will be brought in, etc. Those are all our own kind of expectations from this process. But we don't know what the draft is proposing also. We don't know actually what is the proposal at the outset.
There is a need for reform in almost every community. Our Indian society is largely patriarchal, whether it is Muslim, Hindu, Christian, or customary, Adivasi communities. Largely it is patriarchal. There are some streams of matrilineal cultures in different places, but I would say we don't single out any one community as either the ideal or the most negative example. I would say that every community needs to discuss this issue, keep women in the center of the discussions, women in leadership, women who have experienced violence, who have supported women who have been addressing issues of justice. They should be consulted, and these issues needs to be kind of find a root in every community, not only Hindu, not only Muslim, not only Christian, not only Adivasi, not only Parsi or Sikh. If a politician gives this kind of a call, it is a very politicized comment, I would say. I would single out Hindu community for needing reforms, certainly not. There has been the 2018 report of the previous Law Commission has given comments for every community. What are the major drawbacks in each community law, in each community code and what can be reformed. So that would be a much better way of looking at it objectively and in a way that it adds value to justice for women.
In general, what people, common people are supposed to think about when they look at the WhatsApp messages or such things which are creating confusions, and some messages are instilling fear among the common people, particularly the minority communities.
What we would request is that everybody should go back and read the Law Commission of India 2018 consultation paper. In fact, what the Law Commission should have done, translated in other languages, shared it with everybody. That's what they should have done. Read that paper, become educated in terms of understanding what is it that is really required. That uniformity is not the answer. Yes, there is discrimination in personal law. We must accept that. And yes, that discrimination must be removed, but not through a uniform civil code. So we would urge everybody to say that uniformity is not something that is required. It is not desirable. What is instead required is for us to move towards a gender just and a non-discriminative system of laws.
So the people should refrain from sharing or forwarding messages and need not fear or need not worry.
In fact, the Law Commission of India themselves recently had put out a message saying that we are become aware that some people are sending something to a WhatsApp message. We don't have any WhatsApp. We have only an email. So that means that there is lot of misinformation that is being spread. So let us inform ourselves first and let us understand what it means. And the Law Commission of India in fact has a responsibility to come out and say, when it is talking about this, what did the 2018 report say, what did the 2018 discussion paper say, and ensure that that is made accessible to everybody.